Is this sweet? I can't tell.
Hey, I have an album review of something that just recently came out. Something that's very exciting to me. Sodom, with their new album, Decision Day. This came out August 26th. Steamhammer. This is Sodom's 15th album. Sodom has been around for a very long time. They've just been kicking ass and taking names since mid-80s, you know? If you don't know Sodom, they are a German thrash metal band. They are in the Teutonic thrash scene with Creator, Destruction, Tankard. So Sodom has made a name for themselves, definitely. And they're a band to me that's always been kind of consistent. But they've also written some of the best thrash metal albums ever, in my opinion. With, Persecution Mania, Agent Orange especially. I feel recently Sodom's been still very consistent. Epitome of Torture from 2013 was a good album. I wasn't blown away by it, but I enjoyed it. I very much enjoy In War and Pieces. I think that's a good album as well. And, even though it's 15 years old now, like albums like M16 just kick ass. So what do I think of this album? I think this is one of the best Sodom albums ever, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoy this album. Ever since it came out a week ago, this is all I've been listening to. I just cannot stop listening to this album and just banging my head. The album's, to me, is, I think the best way to describe it is that it's just very consistent and very angry, but I think its consistency is what just pays off. Every song to me just flows really well, has really strong riffs, and just kicks ass. There's not one moment on here where I felt meh, or not one song that just felt a little filler to me. Every song just feels really good. It's consistent from start to finish. Some songs are a little bit better than others, obviously. I think the album starts off really great with the track In Retribution. I think that is an awesome song. And I think that main riff is one of the best riffs on this album, for sure. And I love the way that it just punches you in the face right there in the beginning. Rolling Thunder is another very good track. I love the heaviness of the main riff in that song. And that's one thing about most of these songs is there's good riffs throughout all of them, but usually the main riff is just tight. And it's just super catchy or very heavy, and it's a good centerpiece, and then they build around it. And that's one thing that I noticed, is that just about every main riff is just fucking awesome. That doesn't happen a lot in thrash. Usually, maybe the main riff is fine, but the verse or the fucking chorus riff is sick. I don't know. It just seems like they thought of this one riff and then built around it, but built around it in a very smart way. Just how I think about it. Rolling Thunder and Belligerence are two tracks that I really enjoyed the nice touch of acoustic guitar in there. Rolling Thunder, I really, really enjoy it there. And then in Belligerence, which is probably the most chaotic song in ways. It's the song to me that has, different tempo swings, but I do feel it comes across just absolutely chaotic, especially during the chorus, which is awesome. But then the verses are a little bit slower, and it's just like the calm before the storm. But there's an acoustic guitar 3/4 through that song, but then it just completely dives into chaos, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm fucking want to fuck something, like that. Another thing I noticed is that about tracks 4 through 6, so Caligula. I'm bad with English if you haven't noticed. Who is God and Strange Lost World. To me, the main riffs in those songs just feel so sleazy almost. They're just hot. Especially Strange Lost World. When that main riff busts in, it is just hot. You probably wouldn't describe Sodom as a sexy band, but it has such a nice groove to it, such a nice punch to it. It's awesome. But, you know, Who is God? I love the evilness of Tom Angel Ripper's vocals during that verse. He just sounds so good on this album. To me, he sounds better on this album than he has the past couple albums, to be honest with you. I just think he has a good mix of vocals. I think his vocal patterns come off extremely well with the guitars and the drums behind it. And just at times they just sound straight up evil. And at times, you know, you just feel like you're being swallowed whole, you know, during the course of Caligula. You know, that it's so in your face. It's great. I really, really, really like this album. I really do think that this album gives a lot of thrash albums from this year a run for their money. You know, Death Angel and Vector in particular, to me. And you could maybe throw in Megadeth in there as well. It's been a great year for thrash metal. It's only going to get better with, you know, Metallica putting out a new album, which seems, at least from Hardwired, like it'll be a pretty strong album, and that's my hope there. And then Testament's new single kicks ass, and then got Overkill dropping a new album later this year. It's been an awesome year for thrash metal, and this just proves that, you know, Sodom knows what they're doing. They know how to thrash the fuck out and write really strong, heavy, killer material. In that, you know, Tom Angel Ripper, he's just a legend, man. Legend in the thrash metal scene. Sodom's better than ever, in my opinion. It's just, that's one thing, quick tangent, about some of these older thrash metal bands. You know, started, most of them started off really strong in the 80s or something. Then the 90s were kind of hit and miss for some of them. Not, you know, but, you know, some of them were complete garbage. Other ones were just fine. They're very experimental. And then all of a sudden they just come back and almost all of them are kicking ass. And that is so awesome. You know, thrash is my favorite genre of music, and to see these bands returning and just showing people how it's done, it's awesome to me. And Sodom is no exception to that, and this album is no exception to that. And I also want to point out, I cannot believe I forgot this. Decision Day, the title track, is probably my favorite song on here. Every riff in that song is awesome. And then I love the melodic nature of that chorus. Just, it's so good. Yeah. 9 out of 10. I love this album. So thank you for watching. Check out all the other stuff that's been up recently. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to the last couple months of the year, man. There's a lot of fucking, hopefully awesome shit coming out. I'm excited. So thanks for watching. See you guys around.